they have nobody who's been in the finals, but they have a bunch of guys who have made quote unquote deep playoff runs. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 before in 2018 when they lost to LeBron and the Cavs, and they were in this conference finals, obviously going to Game 7 in back-to-back series. So I think it's a little bit different levels of experience, obviously, where the Warriors look like they have way more experience on paper, but they still have a couple of key important pieces who are total wild cards in the spot. And then whereas the Celtics, you could fairly say that everybody is a total wild card in the spot. But I also think they have some weird sort of like veteran experience just from being in so many playoff games before, and both the highs and the lows of losing Game 7 or losing to the Heat or losing to the Bucks, to have that revenge tour that that I've seen it called from all the teams that they beat in this series. The Nets, or in this playoffs, the Nets, the Bucks, and the Heat are all teams that they've lost to in the last 3 playoffs, I believe, and then they were able to beat them all, and now they're on this mountaintop trying to claim the final prize of the NBA championship against the Warriors. So I really think it's a toss-up, honestly, and for the Celtics to have to deal with Golden State. They've been a better road team, but again, Golden State undefeated at home, although their home court advantage at the Chase Center isn't quite what it was at Oracle. So even though I think the fans are going to be loud at Chase, it's not going to be like we saw it against, when they're in the finals against the Cavs, or even when they were in there against the Raptors. Even though they lost that series, the Oracle was still rocking. And then, this is Boston's first championship that they've been in since they had Garnett, Ray Allen, and Pierce. So I think those fans will take it up to even a different level than they've taken it to in any of these playoff series that they've seen when they've had things to root against, right? They had Kyrie to root against, and boy, did they. And they had Giannis to root against, and then they finally had this opportunity to take it and go to the finals, and then root against the Heat, who I know they don't have the big 3 anymore, but it was a team that knocked them out of really like their last chance to make the NBA Finals when they had a legitimate shot in 2012. So I think Boston will bring it in terms of like the home fans, and I think the Warriors will too. It's really just who can take that game on the road, honestly. And if it goes to Game 7, maybe Golden State doesn't have to, but that's asking them to still be perfect from home like they've been all postseason, and that's just a really tall task and probably an unfair ask of a team who's already given you so much as like the home fans to root for.
Yeah, I know we made or at least brought up the stat and talked about it, and it's definitely a talking point as far as finals experience. But this isn't the same thing as the Super Bowl, where your AFC NFC championship game experience doesn't fully correlate to how it is in the Super Bowl, because it's one venue, one day, and it's a whole different animal. This is teams going back and forth between arenas they played in and are used to playing in, and I think playing in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, not the same obviously as the NBA Finals, but it's a very big stage, and you get a lot of experience from that. And then an NBA Finals experience, if your coach has some, I think that mitigates a bunch of what the players don't have. And Ime Udoka has gone with the San Antonio Spurs. He is an assistant coach who just won the title last year with the Milwaukee Bucks. They have NBA Finals experience as a coaching staff, while they might not have it as a playing group. But like you said, with Marcus Smart and Tatum and Brown and Al Horford, who have been to Eastern Conference Finals before. Yes, they didn't get the job done until this year to actually make the NBA Finals, but I think having been to that big of a stage, which yes is a step below the NBA Finals, but it's a big enough stage that you see how they act and how they react in these situations, that it shouldn't be that much of a discrepancy. I don't think we're going to see a giant, oh my God, deer in headlights feeling from the Boston Celtics in these NBA Finals. Yes, the Warriors have that more experience, and I think it will show at times. What's going to show more at times is just what we've seen from these Boston Celtics in clutch moments throughout this playoff run. There have been plenty of times where they haven't got the job done. And so that's what I'm looking to see, is that when they get in the same situation in the NBA Finals, is Marcus Smart going to go to hero ball and ruin the game? or anyone for that matter on the Celtics? Are they going to stop passing the ball and playing like a team and using what got them to this position in the first place and go to, I've got to do something for this team right now, which more often than not doesn't work out for you? Yes, it creates the highlight reels that we all get to watch for years later on down the road, but more often than not, you're not getting a win out of it because you're putting it all on your shoulders instead of playing team basketball, which is what got you here in the first place. There's
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on